everyone, here's the final video in what has turned into my Allentown trilogy. This week we're going to figure out how much this collection would be worth in 2025. As a note, it sold for $70,000 in 1987. Check out the links in the description for the first two videos in this series where I talk about the master list and how I updated it, and then I did a deep dive into the collection itself, book by book. A couple of notes before I get started here. First off, I'm going to be talking about valuations of many, but certainly not all of the books, like my reasoning for certain valuations. So if there's anything I don't talk about in detail, please let me know in the comments if you want me to go into detail about my evaluation on anything. I can usually piece it together. Secondly, there are two books that are valued well beyond the current record for a comic book. I have, historically, had people question the validity of valuing books well beyond the current record price for a comic book. The idea is that there's not evidence that these higher prices are possible. While I understand that argument, the whole history of the world record price for a comic book is full of the kind of leaps that people are complaining about here. Whether or not someone has ever paid over $10 million for a comic book at this point really isn't the point. I'm just trying to evaluate the books in front of me with the data that I have and trying to offer up an honest appraisal. So that's where we're at. We hadn't sold $1 million book before we sold one. We hadn't sold a $2 million book before we sold one of those. We hadn't sold a $100,000 book. That's the history of the hobby. $10,000, $40,000. It's the history of the hobby. So that's where we're at. That's what we're going to do. So let's get started. All winners, number 3, CGC 9.2. $50,000 is an aggressive price based on the last comparable sale in 8.0 for $8,100 in June of 2024. But it's such a cool book. So there you go. Some of these I'm a little aggressive with. Some of them I'm a little conservative. I kind of try to note it as it happens, but not always. As a note, yes, we're going to blow right past the original $70,000 sale price. In fact, with the second book. Batman number 1, 1-inch spine split, otherwise near mint. That is the grade. $750,000. That's based on the idea that the Batman number 1 would be a VF, which is kind of conservative for a VF. Batman number 1, it might be $1 million book, but I'm not really sure of the technical grade, so I didn't want to go whole hog. I'm kind of hedging my bets. Still, $800,000 after 2 books. Batman number 2, $40,000. Batman number 3, $60,000. We're at $900,000 very quickly. Batman number 4 is potentially the best copy. It's valued at $150,000. So we're already looking at well over $1 million, clocking it at $1,050,000. And we're not out of the B's yet. Number 5, Batman number 5 is VG plus kind of range, estimated at $2,000. It's funny that there's a low-grade copy in the middle of all these incredible books, but it is, that happens in this collection. You'll get like 10 near mint mints and then like 1 VG in the middle. Batman number 6, I love this book, CGC 9.6, estimated at $50,000. That's based on a 9.4 selling for $20,400 in 2024 and adding a little bit of a Allentown bump. The number 9, nice copy, presumably, estimated at $20,000. Number 17, mid-grade, estimated at $2,000. Batman number 19, again, mid-grade, $1,000. Batman number 24, again, mid-grade, VG, estimated $400. This would be one of those books I would target, right? It's Batman, but it's only like a $400 book. A bunch of people would actually target this. So if it came up for auction, it would probably sell for $1,000. But I'd still target it because it's at the lower end of the price spectrum, and you could get an Allentown. It'd be fun. I mean, there's other books I'd target too, but I mean, that would be one that would be neat to buy without having to break the bank. Blue Ribbon Comics number 7. This one is kind of a stretch since there are no sales above 7.0 in the past several years. Based on an average of about $3,000 for a 6.5 in the past year, I worked up to like $32,000, which is what I'm estimating it at. Since I expect this to be the highest graded copy, and then I'm just kind of doing like my multiple math, which gets us to $24,000. Kind of 3,000, 6,000, 4 times that to get to 24,000. And then I add a little bit of a pedigree bump to get to 32. This is more art than science sometimes, and sometimes it's pretty straightforward. But this one is just like, what is this going to sell for? I don't know. So I'm guessing 32,000. Boy Commandos #1, CGC 8.0, 2,500 bucks. Bullet Man #1, one of my favorite books in the collection with the metallic cover. Estimated at $3,000, CGC 7.0. Captain Arrow #2, fine-ish, estimated 500 bucks. Captain Arrow #3, slightly nicer copy, estimated $1,000. That brings the total to $1,164,400. We're Captain Arrow. We're going to go into Captain America next. So that total is going to go up pretty quickly. And yes, things have escalated. Captain America Comics #1, CGC 9.8, $10 million. My estimate is based on kind of a slight haircut for the value of the San Francisco copy, valuing it at $2.5 million since it sold during like the heart of the COVID hype era. And then I just put a 4 times multiple that price to come to this. So it's also a nice round number. So 10 million it is. Like I said in the preview, in the review of the entire collection, if this came up for sale and didn't break the record by a lot, I would be disappointed because I think it's just one of the coolest books in the hobby. We're going to assume the #2 is very nice, estimated at $300,000. The #3 is very nice, CGC 9.6, estimated $500,000, which puts us at the total of $11,964,400 bucks. How quickly will we get past 12 million? Oh, we're getting there. Captain America Comics #6, CGC 8.0, estimated $12,500. Mid-grade Captain America Comics 63, which is another one of those books I would target. Estimated $1,500 bucks. Captain Fearless #2, VF range, estimated $1,000. And we have our first bargain, Contact #11, low grade, estimated $100 bucks. If you just had to have an Allentown, these are the ones to go for. And there we go, 12 million. Daredevil Battles Hitler #1, presumably a very nice copy. $30,000. So I'm being conservative here, since if it did end up being kind of like a 9.4, I think it's a $50,000 to $60,000 book. But sometimes you just have to guess at the grades. And while Payette is obviously a very strict grader, and a lot of his very fine near mints end up being much nicer, we can't kind of guarantee that. So sometimes I err on the side of caution and do a little bit of a conservative estimate for value. This is one such case. Daring Mystery Comics #8, $30,000. And we're at $12,039,400 before we start in on the detectives, which is where things get really crazy and fun, and a lot of speculation happens, and we look at a lot of really nice books. Detective Comics #26. This is probably the best copy. It's better than the church copy, presumably, which is an 8.0. So the estimate is $100,000. It seems reasonable. It could sell for much more. As we've seen, some of these pre-hero detectives are, kind of like catnip to advanced collectors. So they're catnip to me. I certainly love them. Okay, drum roll again. I'm going to get an editor someday, and they're going to do you guys are going to laugh, because every 3 weeks, maybe I'll add in some cheesy special effect and it'll be funny. And the rest of the time, it'll just be me talking into a microphone. Here we go. Detective Comics #27, estimate $22,500,000. That puts the total at $34,639,500. Okay, I'll talk about this for a second. Whenever I look at the biggest books in the hobby, I start with figuring out the value of the Edgar Church copy of Action Comics #1, and then I work backwards from there. I currently value the Church copy of Action Comics #1 at $25 million. How did I get there? It's worth 4 times the Kansas City copy, which sold for $6 million in 2024, and then I added $1 million to make it a nice round number. That's how it works sometimes. This book is generally worth kind of like 5 to 10% less than the Action #1. That's just the way that I've done it for 15, 20 years or whatever, and I'm going to continue to do that. Is that realistic? Is 22 million realistic? Is 25 realistic? I have no idea. Neither of these books are going to come up for sale, so it's an academic exercise. The only way we could really unlock insight onto the value of these books is if the Detective Comics number 2027 CGC 9.2 came up for sale, which would tickle these. It would get close. It wouldn't get quite this close, but it would get close. I believe. I believe it's the most valuable CGC graded book. So, or one of the 9.0s. I mean, honestly, if one of the Action Comics number 9, Action Comics number 1's 9.0s came up for auction and sold for $12 million or $14 million, I think that these numbers look sensible. Strange thing to say, but you know what I mean. Moving on, because I could talk about that book all day, as I've said multiple times. Detective Comics number 28, assuming it's a nice copy, estimated value $200,000. This is definitely a nice copy. Detective Comics number 29, CGC 9.6, $1.5 million. $276,000 for an 8.5 is the only data we have recently. So this is basically me throwing darts. But at some level, I think this might be conservative. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard with these books. They just don't sell that often. They definitely don't sell in high grade. And you can't even imagine some of the high grade copies selling. So it's like, I don't know. Like there's a church copy of this that is not going to come up for sale. And, you know, how nice is that? I don't know. Detective Comics number 30. Again, presumably a nice copy. Although this is one of those ones where Fischler graded below Payette, but anyway, estimate $100,000. Detective Comics number 31, presumably nice copy, almost no data, $1.5 million seems conservative. I don't know how I say these words out loud, but a 4.5 and a 5, I mean a 4.0 and a 5.0 copies have sold for like nearly $200,000 of this book. So, I mean, that's a lot of money for a mid-grade copy of this book. What would a high-grade copy do? I don't know. I'm guessing. I mean, it's an educated guess, but it's a guess. Detective Comics number 33, CGC 9.0, $400,000. An 8.0 sold for $192,000 in 2022, so this is over twice that result. Seems like a reasonable... That's one of those... I actually have data for this one. That seems like a reasonable estimate. Detective Comics number 34, presumably a nice copy, estimated $40,000. Detective Comics number 35. I don't know where the scan came from. I don't know if this book is going to come up for sale. I have no idea what's going on. CGC 9.4, estimated $750,000. There's very little data for this book. Very little. So this is really just a dart thrown. This and the Batman 1, I feel like could sell for $1 million. The Batman one, it depends on the technical grade, and this is just like such a remarkable book. It just blows my mind. So apparently I'm a champion for Detective Comics number 38 these days. I don't know when that happened, but it's the truth. I'm calling it $1 million for this. It's the first appearance of Robin. I know. People don't, death in the family. People killed him. But who cares? It's Batman and Robin. It's Batman and Robin, right? That's the team. It's the first appearance of Robin. It's an incredibly important book. This is a really nice copy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Detective 38 ever rises from the ashes. I don't know. I'm going to champion the book. If you own a Detective 38, thank me. Thank me now, because I'm going to make that book valuable. Detective Comics number 44, presumably a really nice copy, $25,000. 45, again, presumably a nice copy, and again, $25,000. 48, again, presumably a nice copy, $50,000 for that. And strangely, this like end of the run, end of the collection, Detective Comics number 28, 128, years later, mid-grade copy, estimated $1,500. So that brings us to 40,231,000 after the detectives. And spoilers, I mean, that's the bulk of the value of the collection because, you know that there are 2 gigantic books in the collection. But there's a bunch of interesting stuff to come. And it's just how much has this appreciated since it was sold. And of course, it was sold at a retail price in '87. But we've come a long way since this collection could sell for $70,000. Exciting Comics number 2, $1,500. Exciting Comics number 3, higher grade, $10,000. Fight Comics number 4, CGC 9.4, $5,000. $3,000 for the Fight Comics number 16. Fight Comics number 17, $1,000. Kind of VF range. $1,000 for the CGC 9.2 Fight Comics number 22, bringing the total for the collection to $40,252,500 after the fights are taken into account. Flash Comics number 10, kind of VF range, estimated $5,000. 4 Favorites number 2, CGC 7.0, estimated $1,500. Lightning Volume 2 number 4, estimated $2,500. Master Comics number 16, CGC 9.4, estimated value $5,000. Marvel Comics number 1, CGC 9.4 with a tear sale, which I've shown in a video. You can actually see the tear sale. $1 million tear sale, $250,000 in the current condition. Marvel Mystery Comics number 11, $7,500, assuming it's kind of VF plus very fine near mint-ish. And we're at $40,724,000 before we look at the Mystery Men Comics run, which is a fun run. Mystery Men Comics number 1, CGC 9.2, estimated value $200,000. $50,000 for the presumably phenomenal number 2. If Payette graded it near mint, it's probably perfect. Number 3, which is again presumably a really nice book, $50,000. And again, a really nice book. For Mystery Man Comics number 4, estimated $40,000. Number 5, maybe slightly less since Payette graded it very fine near mint, but still $40,000 for that. $30,000 for the Mystery Man Comics number 6. Again, really nice copy. Number 7, which is the worst book so far in the run, $7,500. Number 8, we're back in business. $50,000 for the number 8. $50,000 for the number 9. $25,000 for the Mystery Man Comics number 10. The book we've got an image of, Mystery Man Comics number 11, CGC 9.0, estimated value $7,500. Number 13, CGC 9.6, estimated value $25,000. I'd love to see that one. Mystery Man Comics number 14, CGC 9.0, estimated value $10,000. Mystery Man Comics number 15, presumably a nice copy, estimated value $2,500. Number 16, estimated value $7,500. That brings the total to $41,119,000 for the collection after the Mystery Men run. Mystic Comics number 1, CGC 9.2, estimated value $80,000. Gorgeous book. Mystic Comics number 2, CGC 9.4. I'd love to see a scan of this. Estimated value $60,000. Mystic Comics number 3, CGC 9.4. Estimated value $40,000. Quite a little run, huh? Mystic Comics number 9. Here we have this pattern again where like there's a dud in the run. Mystic Comics number 9, which is still a valuable book, by the way. This is a great classic cover. Mid-grade. Mystic Comics number 9, estimated value $15,000. Nickel Comics number 2, CGC 9.4, estimated value $5,000. Nickel Comics number 3, CGC 9.6, again $5,000. $3,000 for the presumably really nice Nickel Comics number 4. $1,000 for the restored CGC 9.0 Nickel Comics number 6. $500 for CGC 6.5 Nickel Comics number 7. $4,500 for CGC 9.2 Nickel Comics number 8. And with that, we're at $41,333,000 after taking into account the nickel run. Pep Comics number 8, presumably very nice. Estimated value $35,000. Pep Comics number 9, CGC 9.4, estimated value $20,000. Pep Comics number 12, VF-ish, estimated $2,000. Pep Comics number 27, kind of very fine near mint, we're assuming. Maybe great, maybe better because it is Payette grading it. $20,000, which brings us to $41,410,000 after the Peps. Our Flag number 2, CGC 9.0, estimated $6,500. Rangers number 1, estimated $1,500. Feature book 33, The Romance of Flying, estimated $250. Real Heroes number 1, estimated $250. Another bargain. Real Heroes number 3, estimated value $100. $500 for Shadow number 3. As I said, like in the deep dive, I was like, this book did not appreciate very much because it was actually like $100 book or something like that in the catalog, and it's only a $100 book now, whereas most of the books have appreciated. Like even the cheap ones are like 20 times the value or 10 times the value of the catalog. So I don't know. I don't remember exactly how much this was in the catalog, but it's not that much money now. Shield Wizard number 2, estimated $4,000. Shield Wizard number 4, estimated $4,000. Bring our total to $41,427,100. One of my favorite books in the collection, Silver Streak Comics number 6, CGC 9.2. $250,000? I don't know. I mean, there are no sales above 7.0, so this is a tough one to value. But I just love the book, so I gave it a nice round number. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one, because it's a really hard book to value. They don't sell very often, and they certainly don't sell in high grade. So, Special Edition Comics number 1, CGC 9.8, $75,000. It sold for $30,000 over 13 years ago, so $7,500 seems reasonable. $75,000 seems reasonable for it now. Speed Comics number 1, estimated value of $20,000. Speed Comics number 3, estimated value $20,000. That brings us to $41,792,100. Spirit Comics number 1, estimated $4,000. Star Spangled Comics number 6, estimated $2,500. We got another bargain. Star Spangled Comics number 69, low grade, estimated $100. And another bargain, Star Spangled Comics number 76, VG, estimated $100. Super Mystery Comics number 1, VF range, estimated $10,000. We're currently at $41,808,800. It's a very auspicious number. Surefire Comics number 1, VF range, estimated $5,000. Surefire Comics number 3, CGC 8.5, estimated $7,500. Surefire Comics number 3, which is actually number 4, CGC 7.5, estimated $10,000. Bargain alert! This is the cheapest book in the collection. $50 for Terry and the Pirates number 1. As I said in the deep dive, at least it's a number 1. I think it was $5 in the original catalog. So this one increased by 10 times. Top Notch number 5, CGC 9.0, estimated value $2,500. Top Notch number 11, presumably a ridiculously nice copy, $12,500. I was surprised, but I thought that this would be cheaper. True Aviation Comics Digest, it's at least a $500 book. Probably more, to be honest. The church copy, a 7.5, sold for $432 in September. So if this is like a 9.6, I don't know, it could be like a $1,500 book. I think, like I say this all the time, somebody collects everything. So a high-grade copy of this is like somebody's grail. Everything is somebody's grail. Remember that. You just have to find them. If you have it, you have to find them. True Comics number 5, mid-grade, another bargain, $100. True Comics number 11, VF, $200. USA is Ready, 1941, $5,000? $5,000. An 8.5 recently sold for $1,500, and if Payette called this mint, I mean, it's got to be perfect. So, I don't know. A 9.8 would be at least 5,000. I don't know. Again, it's a guess. Educated, but a guess. War Heroes number 1, 1,000. War Heroes number 2, CGC 9.0, estimated $200. A presumably ridiculous copy of War Heroes number 4, estimated $500. And a bargain, War Heroes number 5, fine, estimated $100. We're at $41,853,950, and we're definitely in the home stretch. Although the good news is there's some cool books coming. Speaking of cool books, Wiz Comics number 8, CGC 9.6, estimated at $25,000. Worth every penny for that yellow. Wiz Comics number 9, CGC 8.5, estimated $15,000. Worth every penny for that red and the big red cheese on the cover. Wrestling a rhino. Wings Comics number 1, CGC 9.4, estimated value $12,000. Wings Comics number 2, kind of assuming it's a high-grade copy, $2,400 for the estimate. Wings Comics number 5, CGC 9.4, $2,500, gorgeous red cover. VF range, Wings Comics number 11, estimated value $1,000. Wings Comics number 19, VF mint somewhere in there, estimated value $750. Wings Comics number 28, CGC 9.4, $1,200. Wings Comics number 30, estimated value $500. Wings Comics number 31, very fine near mint, depending on who you're looking at, estimated value $500. We're at $41,914,800 after the Wings run. $20,000 for the qualified CGC 9.0 Wonder Comics number 1. $100,000 for the phenomenal Wonder Comics number 2, CGC 9.2. This was the single biggest surprise of the collection for me. I hadn't seen that this book had come up for auction. It is one of the most striking books I've ever seen. And wow, what a book. This puts us over $42 million, by the way. $42,034,800. The Wonderworld run is stellar, of course. So let's take a look at the values. Wonderworld number 3, CGC 9.4, $75,000. The church copy, a CGC 9.4, sold for $64,000 in 2020, so that may be low. Wonderworld Comics number 4, estimated value $7,500. Number 5, estimated value $10,000. Number 6, CGC 9.2, estimated value $7,500. Number 7, estimated value $50,000. That's actually conservative, as the church copy, a 9.6, sold for $66,000 in 2017. And while Payette says this is very fine plus, it could be better. And, you know, the numbers from 2017 are a long way from the numbers that we see now, especially with kind of classic Golden Age covers. So if this is a 9.2 or a 9.4, it easily could do $65,000, $75,000. I don't know. I'd love to see it. Let's get the book out. Wonderworld Comics number 8. Look at this cover, by the way. CGC 9.4, $50,000. The church copy, another 9.4, sold for $33,000 in 2017. So again, this is probably conservative. Wonderworld number 9, $25,000. Wonderworld number 10, again, gorgeous, love it. CGC 9.2, $25,000. Wonderworld number 11, $5,000. The rip on the top makes it difficult to, like, what does that mean, a rip? I wish you would just grade it technically and then like have the otherwise very fine near mint. It's like kind of like the qualified thing. It's like I never liked qualified grades because you just want to know what the technical grade is. I guess it's kind of a green label 9.0 is what Payette is saying. I don't know. $5,000. Who knows? Wonderworld number 12, 10,000, which is maybe conservative. If it's higher than 9.0, it'd be worth more as the church copy, a 9.4, sold for $13,000 in 2017. So if this is like a 9.2, it's probably worth at least $15,000 now. If it's a 9.4 at 25 or whatever, it's just tough. You don't know the grades, so I have to guess. Again, educated guess, but it's a guess. Wonderworld Comics number 13, CGC 9.6, phenomenal cover. Estimated value, $40,000. Wonderworld Comics number 14, CGC 8.0, estimated value, $5,000. Wonderworld Comics number 15, CGC 9.4, $50,000. I don't know. Who knows? There are no sales over 9.0, including the church copy, which is not that nice. So this is like best copy. Who knows? $50,000. If you have any opinions, leave them in the comments. I mean, about anything. It's, I'm doing my best. Wonderworld Comics number 17, estimated value $3,000. And with that, after the Wonderworlds, we're at $42,397,800. And we got one last book, Zip Comics number 9, CGC 9.6, $25,000. That was quick. That was fun. 2 more slides before we finish this thing off. Here are the cheapest current books in the collection. So we've got, again, Terry and the Pirates number 1, $50. Contact number 11, $100. Real Heroes number 3, $100. Star Spangled 69, $100. Star Spangled 76, $100. True Comics number 5, $100. War Heroes number 5, $100. True Comics number 11, $200. War Heroes number 2, $200. Feature Book 33, Romance of Flying, $250. And Real Heroes number 1, $250. And then the exciting stuff, the top 10 most valuable comics. Detective Comics number 27, $22.5 million. Captain America Comics number 1, CGC 9.8, $10 million. Detective number 29, CGC 9.6, $1.5 million. Detective 31, $1.5 million. Detective number 38, $1 million. Batman number 1, $750,000. Detective number 35, CGC 9.4, $750,000. Captain America number 3, CGC 9.6, $500,000. Detective number 33, CGC 9.0, $400,000. And finally, in the top 10, Captain America number 2, $300,000. So as you can see, the bulk of the value in the collection is just in the Captain America and Detective runs. But that's the way that these things work. And the Captain America and Detective runs are remarkable in this collection. Just insane. So you got to appreciate it. And there you have it. The total, $42,422,800. That $70,000 original purchase price looks like a rounding error at this point. Again, thank you for, sitting through all of these Allentown videos. I hope you've enjoyed them. I've really enjoyed putting them together. I feel like an expert on Allentown now. Don't expect every Pedigree to be a deep dive like this, but this one lends itself to this sort of deep dive because it's so important and so small. So I could look at everything in detail. Next up, I have a video on the Amazing Spider-Man number 14 Pedigree copies and the Sotheby's 1991 catalog, both of which are kind of in process. I'm sorry that this took a little longer than I expected, by the way, but I put together presentations for this. This is 142 slides, and the math has to work throughout, right? So I have to add the total up so that it's a running total that actually makes sense. And I have to make sure that every grade is correct and whatever. So I had to go through this presentation like 3 or 4 times. So sorry for being late, but I think it's worth it. It was certainly a lot of fun for me to do. Thanks again for checking out the video. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. If you haven't, subscribe, share this with your friends. Definitely leave comments because there's a lot of speculation that I've had to do in this video, and I want to hear what you think. And yeah, that's it. I will see you in the next one, and have a good one.